I did not expect the news of Nate Diaz and Jake Paul to be revealed today, but it's shocking. August 5th, the fight is going down, which is pretty far ahead. Also, the second half of the video, we're going to be talking about Moreno, Alexandre, Pantoja finally being revealed, the trilogy. I'm going to be breaking down all that in the second half of the video, so tune in there. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today's question of the day is, what fight are you more looking forward to? Are you more looking forward to the first title defense of Brandon Moreno's new championship reign? Or are you guys excited for Nate Diaz to face off against Jake Paul and maybe even get a win against him? We're going to be talking about why I think this Nate Diaz fight might be a little bit closer than some people are saying, and why it also might just not. But before we get into these big, massive fights, let's hear from the sponsor of today's video. Alright, you know it's a good day when we have a sponsor. The sponsor of today's video is actually a sponsor I'm super excited to work with, is Alred. Alred is a streetwear brand from the UK that has designs inspired by mixed martial arts. They have designs inspired by fighters like Darren Till, Paddy Pimblett, and so much more. The people over there were nice enough to send me a hoodie of my own. As you guys could see, you know, it says kill everybody. Like, seriously, I had no idea what these hoodies were gonna look like, but I was insanely surprised. These hoodies look dope as hell. Look, if you guys want to go check out their designs, which I really suggest you guys do, go hit the link in the description and use code JACK10 to get 10% off of your order. That means you're gonna help me as well as help yourself, because you're gonna get some dope ass merch while also getting a massive discount. But let's just get back into the video. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. Now, this is a fight that has been talked about for the longest time. Jake Paul's been calling out his name all the way since 2021, even before he fought Ben Askren, saying, hey, this is a fight that he wants. That fight wasn't even possible at the time. Nate Diaz was in the UFC, and a lot of people interpreted Nate Diaz leaving the UFC as him wanting to fight Jake Paul, getting a lot of money, because Jake Paul is a big money fight, especially when you compare that to the pay of the UFC. Now, however, there was a lot of back and forth whether Nate Diaz was going to fight Logan Paul. There was talk of a WWE boxing promotion where he was going to fight Logan Paul. Logan Paul saying in an interview that it kind of fell through last minute.
That's Nate Diaz.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
because you just went through four.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz?
I don't even care anymore. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's Nate Diaz. Yeah. I thought I had something locked in, and like apparently he called and said the fight was off. Like, why? Why? So he could fight someone else? For what purpose? To get less buys and maybe an easier fight? I don't know. I don't get it.
So it's kind of strange that now Jake Paul is fighting him, but I would understand, because Jake Paul probably makes more sense for Nate Diaz. I mean, Jake Paul has gone the pro route, has beaten MMA guys. This is a fight that is a lot more challenging if you're Nate Diaz, because we all know that Nate likes challenges. I mean, you see the guys that he agrees to fight. I mean, he agreed to fight Hamza, Leon Edwards, top tier guys. And while Jake Paul isn't the elite of the elite, he's definitely better than Logan Paul in the boxing. So the fight details were just randomly dropped today. I don't think anybody expected this. August 5th, it's going down on DAZN pay-per-view. 185 pounds, 15 pounds over the limit that Nate Diaz usually fights at. 8 rounds, and honestly, if you're Nate Diaz, you probably wanted to go a little more longer, seeing that Nate Diaz's best strength is his cardio, wearing down his opponents. We all know this. However, 8 rounds, I mean, Jake Paul is used to going 8 rounds. He's gone 8 rounds on numerous occasions. The guy has become a lot more experienced in pacing himself in an 8-round fight. So I don't think this is going to be very challenging for Jake Paul, if I'm going to be honest, though. I think if Nate Diaz manages to ramp up the volume, that can cause problem for Jake Paul. I mean, we saw that his main defense against Tommy Fury when getting hit with a lot of combinations was just to go straight backwards, and the shots were adding up, and that's basically what won Tommy Fury the fight. Well, one of the factors was Jake's poor defense, and I think it's interesting. And look, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's ducking Tommy Fury, that he should get a rematch with him. I disagree, simply because he should have never fought Tommy Fury in the first place, and Jake Paul has dug himself into a hole where he talks so much shit that yes, now he has to back it up. Now he has to fight a pro boxer, but really, does anybody want to see him fight a pro boxer? He's not going to beat a pro boxer. These MMA fights to me are a lot more interesting, and he's kind of in a weird space because he's basically proved that he's better than MMA guys and worse than boxing guys. Now he has to try to find something in between, and I think Nate Diaz is kind of one of the best things you could have. Good name, definitely has a boxing background. So I think if Nate Diaz manages to ramp up the volume, push Jake backwards, go at his gas tank, maybe he could take him to a decision. However, I'm more worried about the latter, which is I think we're going to see a Nate Diaz knockout. I mean, look, guys, I know Nate Diaz has a mythical chin that has never been cracked except for that one head kick that was kind of just a TKO. I mean, he took a head kick flush on the head. All those years passed. But look, guys, you know, I know we make jokes about a lot of these fighters having big mythical chins, not being able to get knocked out, but as we've seen time and time again, sadly, everybody has a ticking time clock. Nate Diaz is almost 40 years old, has taken tons and tons of damage throughout his career. Jake Paul's a guy that's going to be way heavier than him. I'm worried about a knockout. Now, with this being said, will there be a knockout? I'm not so sure yet. I want to first think about it. I'm kind of leaning towards not. I think Nate Diaz will get seriously damaged, though. Man, I'm just thinking if Nate Diaz gets knocked out by Jake Paul, man, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm going to be honest. I think I speak for the MMA community that I think we will all kill ourselves. If Leon Edwards couldn't knock out Nate Diaz and Jake Paul does, yeah, that we're just going to hang ourselves. But either way, this is a fun fight. I think it's a massive, massive mistake that we've announced the fight so early. I usually like when fights are announced about 2 months before, just because it's just the amount of time for the hype not to die down. I think the hype will kind of die down. People are going to forget that this thing is even happening and then be like, oh shit, Nate Diaz is fighting in a month. It always happens. There's always a big mistake. I like when there's about a month and a half, 2 months, just kind of like how the UFC does. Like the UFC just told us the main event for the June pay-per-view. Like they are very much strategic on when they announce things, and I don't think this was very strategically announced. It was just kind of random. Maybe if they do a bunch of press conferences and create a lot of hype, but honestly, as of late, Nate Diaz doesn't really seem to be the type of guy to want to do a lot of promotion for his fights. So that could have been because it was with the UFC, but nonetheless, I am very excited for this fight. This is going to be a fun fight regardless. Just afraid that the hype is going to die down a little bit as we go on. It's in Dallas, Texas, American Airlines Center, and I think we're going to see another Jake Paul win, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What you guys think of the matchup? What do you think Nate Diaz's chances really are? And now let's get into the second part of the video. Alright, Brandon Moreno, Alexandre Pantoja 2 finally announced, but really this is 3, and we're going to break this down. If you guys don't know that these two have actually fought already. One time on the Ultimate Fighter, Brandon Moreno got submitted with a rear naked choke on the Ultimate Fighter. Then they rematched a couple years later in the UFC, where Alexandre Pantoja dominated him across 3 rounds. So it's kind of tough for Brandon Moreno. This is a guy that has had his number multiple times. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Izzy and Alex Pereira fight, with one fight kind of being an exhibition and the first fight being a pro fight, so we might not count the exhibition even though we really should. Point is, Pantoja has 2 wins over him, which I can imagine is giving him massive, massive confidence. And you look at his last fight, the guy tore through Alex Perez. He made it look like Alex didn't even deserve to be in there with him. The guy is a monster, and I actually made a prediction video of who's going to be the champion by the end of the year, and I said Alexandre Pantoja, and I think he might have the edge in this fight. I mean, he definitely has the mental edge. We've seen him be able to dominate him on multiple occasions. I don't know, this is a tough fight for Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno has made a lot of adjustments though since they last fought. The fight was nearly 5 years ago, so take it as you will. The loss to Alexandre Pantoja is actually really personal for Brandon Moreno, because that is a loss that got him cut from the UFC. So this would be kind of a way to reverse history in a way, correct it, and get the win over Alexandre Pantoja. But like I said, this guy is so dangerous. I could see Alexandre Pantoja winning the fight, and I think it actually might happen, but I still want to hold off and make my prediction. But if Brandon Moreno is able to beat him, I could see him beating a lot of other guys now. But anyway, guys, that's going to conclude the video. I'm super excited for both fights. Let me know in the comment section below which fight you are more excited for. Thank you guys for watching. You guys always manage to leave great support in the video in the comment section below, so I'm always thankful for that. Tune in the videos on the screen, watch more, subscribe, share, like, and all that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.